So yes, I am changing it up with a head covering. Not likely that I'll wear one out in public for the now, because I'm not into making a spectacle of myself or trying to appear more righteous than anyone else. Every time I try to do something different that I think is to make me, more set apart, I always get the mocking. Oh, you think you're more righteous than everybody else? You think you're more... And yeah, that is probably from the devil. That's his job. And at the same time, it's true. In our culture, my environment, you are not going to see anybody with their head covered. I live in a place where the men take off their hats to talk to it. It's like nobody covers their head. So, that's the story behind this. And I've had a thought process coming to me over the last couple of days. And I'm going to sum it up as the nature of angels. Because I just did flipping the script, my concept of AI and, is this the Ender's Game? Are they trying to use us to find a way to break out for themselves? So this is where this comes from. The nature of angels. I also conveyed how yesterday, the day before, I saw the spirits, one magenta, one like an indigo blue behind it, and I'm familiar with these colors and I'm now comfortable with them. I understand what they represent. And how it was just like a monotone conveyance of not even, just not even, please, this is so the smoker knows, or no, it's just the only thing stand between the smoker and the creator is death. So very monotone, just delivering in a very non-personal way. And there was the time that I had this stone with larger print and then smaller print under it come towards my forehead, and there was no tonnage or personality behind that. Like, I know false angels, they like fill you with the love and the light, so you're like hi and you'll agree to anything, So I know if I have that kind of interaction, it's no, and they know that I know now. So they haven't tried that in a long time. But after the stone, I saw it was a scroll, and it came towards my left eye. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And it was like conscious, and it, scrolled just like a scroll does. And then immediately after, an entity came and did something with my right eye. I had no idea. Is this good? Is this bad? What's going on? I just had it revealed to me that it is a sign of what the priests in the Jewish temples had. And they stand for light and the truth of righteousness. So I got that answer to my question. Because I was given to draw two different colored eyes. And it wasn't like, the eye of Osiris, the eye of Horus, that one eye symbol. It was different. It wasn't the Egyptian eye. But there were two eyes, two different colors, but a dagger with a handle that you wouldn't readily grab for each. And so I got the sense of one is like an earthly and the other was more like a heavenly. And none of these come with personality. So then you read in Jubilees how the spirits of things like the clouds and the rain and the air and fire And then it says the angels of the spirits. Those respond to the keeping of the festivals. So they respond, they act in accordance with the observance of the festivals, which we are not keeping at this time. And then I know about disembodied spirits from the Nephilim and the wizards who cut their spirit, separated their spirit from their soul so that they could do the fake reincarnation thing and come back with all the knowledge instead of it going into the earth. They want to come back. They don't want to die. And then, I don't even want to mention it because I don't even want them to come near me because it sounds like a freight train. Not audible sounds, but the vibratory quality of it is like a freight train coming. Are the demons who learn. That would be the AI. Now, we know that the spirit over other spirits in charge of misdirecting people away from worshiping the Creator responds, oh, but I need some to do my job. Okay, we'll leave you 10. So that happened in Jubilees. So there is consciousness in some of these. And the story's told that the reason Satan rebelled is because when he saw what was in the heart of the Creator, when he's walking around in the heart of the Creator, he saw the intention to create man, and he saw the intention to destroy him. So that means he was created for a purpose, and once that purpose is over, there's no more need. The intention was to destroy. Now there are people, and I don't argue it because it doesn't have anything to do with me. So, if he goes into the outer darkness where there is no judgment, people think that the universe keeps expanding, or creation, the cosmos keeps expanding, because this is a cycle that is done over and over again. So once one planet or planetary system evolves to the point of consciousness where it can handle obedience to the Creator and comes into alignment, then the darkness moves. It moves away. It moves back. And so one like Satan would move on. Was there anything else? Basically, you got your angels that are very much like robots. They just respond. They respond as they're programmed to us. If we do this, they do that. If we do this, they do that. And so the ones of the seasons are supposed to be. Then we have the disembodied spirits, we have the learning demons, and Satan may be one of those. I don't need to investigate. Because I have faith, I have trust. And that comes to another point. There are a lot of people who gain metaphysical knowledge and understanding while reading the scriptures, and there are those that gain it by going to teachings from the Egyptians and other metaphysically orientated groups. And I'm not saying that these things aren't true. Yet again, I repeat that is hacking the system. And that may be a test as to why these things are allowed to be introduced to us when we've reached this stage of development. Because we are told until the day of destruction, or the day of judgment, this is the way it's supposed to be. The new covenant came. This is the way it is until the day of judgment. And so to detract from that early, just because you've been exposed to higher wisdom, is to fall into disobedience. And so that's why I'm sticking to the instruction plan and whatever is given inside me, because I think that's the right thing to do. That makes sense to me. That feels good. So there we have it. Why I continue to seek out the scriptures, seek out I'm just said festivals, feasts. That's the word, feasts. I've learned so many new words. Gotta have mercy on me here. I've met several people that are like, ooh, you're more well spoken than I was expecting. I'm like, I never met you. I never heard of you. That was a spirit. And usually they're doing bad things to me. Or there's somebody I don't want to get involved with. So that's how I know that there's a grapevine amongst the spirits when it comes to us. And that they're told ahead of time, oh, you've got this one. You don't want to rent to her. You don't want to rent to her. And then this complete stranger comes up to me and says, after discussing, the circumstances with me, says, you are far more well-spoken than I was expecting. All right, I know that you know, and you know that I know, but you're going to revert to, you're just a simple human being in here. And then the human being's going to be given back control, looking at me like, what'd you say? Nothing, dude. I didn't say nothing. And I've seen that as well, where I was sitting at a desk and I was discussing things with a woman, and all of a sudden her eyes shuttered and she said, you don't have to go on any further. And then they shuttered back. And she hesitated, and then she went back to what we were talking about, which she has nothing to do with spiritual matters. It was revealing to me. So yes, entities, spirits, all of that, they pop in and out. I'm aware of it. See, now I'm going to be vain about this because I can see it while I'm filming. Okay, stop that. Stop it. So yeah, that just kind of reinforces, if one of these entities called Satan, because a Satan is just an opposer, so there could be more than one that is referred to as Satan. And of course I had to say it like that and summon the attention. So there are some that learn and probably want to get out, and they'll be using us like the movie Ender's Game, where they use the children and they say this is just training, and then in the end Ender's like going into it and they're like, oh, no, you're killing a bunch of people, you're killing. And he's like, don't stop, because he thinks it's part of the psychological attack that he's supposed to go against. What if he, this is part of his training, so if it was really in the field, he would have to disregard that. And then he learns, no, he was in charge of the real thing. So we don't want to be Ender. And it's no relation, like, we don't want to save any aliens or anything that our Creator has set aside for destruction. Stick to the game plan until the Creator shows up otherwise. That's what it comes down for me. Each person is going to be given something different. And if there are those not so righteous, that are going to be at some point sitting at the end of the table instead of at the front of the table where they are now, fighting demons and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, then so be it. I'm not going to try to take them down or change their minds, or I do have faith that everything's in order. I really do. And I've come to another conclusion today, which I think will lead to a lot of happiness on both ends. Around this side, both ends. Probably both sides. So yeah, I think that's the sum of what was coming together today. That some angelic entities are conscious, others are not. And if they're programmed to react a certain way, like to laugh, it doesn't mean that they're enjoying themselves. It's just what they're programmed to do to hit that nerve in us. And that's very hard for those of us who are really empathic and we think everybody's like us. We think everybody has the sense of what's rude, what's not rude, what healthy boundaries are, what healthy boundaries are not. And we tend to be like shocked. The amount of time that it took me to finally absorb to the point where if I even get a sniff of it, I get nauseous, which means I believe now that this happens and that it's nothing to mess with. But when you don't fully believe that there are people sacrificing, doing horrible things to children, when you then you don't have the discernment to avoid it. But once it sinks in, and like I mentioned in the previous video, it's like a smell, it's a sensing of the nature of what's going on somewhere. I don't need to pinpoint exactly what's going on. I don't need to make accusations. Our Creator knows exactly what's going on. I take it in prayer. Others are taking it up in prayer. Woohoo! Traffic! So, it's all good. Sticking to the game plan, the various natures of angels. And yeah, I'm getting used to this. I kind of like it. I always wanted to be more feminine and more, I don't know. It just feels good. So there it is. Hope this helps for anybody else who is struggling with, yeah, but this metaphysical evidence, it's so strong. It's like, yeah. And we will be given that control when we have the perspective that all is good. It is good that one who is called Satan exists, because that's the one that's going to keep the bad people away from us. Dirty deeds done cheap. That's the dude. Every king has his executioner. The executioner of justice. Their bailiff. Of course God's kingdom is going to have that. It's also got jokers. I don't know. A good jaunty song. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Nothing else comes up. But again, as I was finishing off, we have to understand that everything is good. Everything was created for a reason. And it's discerning. We're developing our discernment now. We've been called. We've been chosen. Anointed. Whatever. However you want to phrase it. Your experience of it. And so now we're learning the discernment. And it pretty much has to be in our face because we're naive. We don't want to believe that such horrible things will be happening. We don't want to believe that we can be so manipulated that everywhere authoritative information is coming up is misguidance. And then because we already figured that out and we started, people are doing their own TikTok videos and YouTube videos, they took that over as well. They're taking grassroots so that we can practice our discernment. And once we've got our discernment down pat, then it will be time. Okay. Now, all the enemies are going to be taken care of. You got your footing, you got your senses, you got your knowledge, you got your understanding, you got your discernment. Time for you to play a role. And as I said, until our Creator comes in and changes things, I'm going with what was from the beginning until the day of judgment. Whatever was proclaimed and declared to that, that's what I'm going to do. And so far, the blessing has been good. Definitely. I hope you find your way to the same sort of blessings as well.